Okay guys, I thought I'd do another video on my bug out bag. The first one I did, I was in the middle of transitioning the bag from one thing to another. And this is going to be a long video guys, but I think you'll learn a lot if you're looking at making one of these for yourself. Now, this isn't your standard bug out bag. This is meant for, if you really have to go and you'll be out there for a while. I always say I think bugging out's a bad idea, right? You're better off just bugging in, staying put, keeping low, hunkered down. But if you have to, you have to. Now, the first bug out bag I did, basically the same contents. I changed just a few items. It had a tarp on the outside, had a shovel. It was a smaller bag, and it was meant to just stay in a trunk or something, right? Throw it in the trunk, and there you go. But I thought about it. It's like, well, if people are around when I pull it out of the trunk and I put it on my back for whatever reason, let's say, you better plan on your vehicle breaking down or something happened, you run out of fuel, right? You're a prepper. Plan to carry it on your back, right? I needed to train for that. I see people, oh, this bag is 60 pounds and I'll do what I have to. Really big guys, that's not going to happen, right? This whole bag, this whole setup, the first one weighed 27.5 pounds, I think. This one weighs 28. Like I said, basically the same bag. And it's not just for me, it's for me and the wife and the kid. The wife has a separate bag. She has clothing in there. You notice I don't have any change of clothing. She has the clothing. She has a Sawyer water filter, a mouse trap for catching food, some cordage, and medication for the little one, and some water. And that's pretty much it. I think she has a couple other items in there, but for the majority, that's mainly what's in the other bag. This is the main bag that we would have to survive on if need be. And besides the knife on the side, you really couldn't tell. These are very popular bags. I see people on bikes with these bags with camel packs. I see people at the park, walking around with them. I see people at work. I see students. They're very popular. And unless you put stuff on the outside to make yourself, put a big old target on your back, people don't know what you have in it. I'm also surprised to see guys on YouTube. They have a wife, they have kids, they have a couple kids, and they have a bug out bag that's meant for one guy. Obviously meant for one guy for a couple days. That's not going to work. This is meant for, 3 of us. So let's get into it. Before I do, here's items that I don't have, but you may need. Right? Let's say you need any kind of medications to survive, right? If you have asthma, you better have an inhaler in there, right? Whatever the case may be, right? Blood pressure medication, whatever you need to survive. Any medications that you need to live, well, then they better go in this bag. Otherwise, somebody else is going to find a bag full of equipment. So don't forget to put that in there. Also, if you wear glasses, if you have a spare, put them in your bug out bag. If you don't have a spare, you have older prescription, put them in there. It's better to have an older prescription than nothing. So, let's get into it. Let me take off this knife. So here, have a bayonet. You're going to need a good knife, right, for hunting or a little bit of woodwork, right? So, basically, I have this on the outside. And basically, I'd put it on me. If I needed this bag, I'd put it on myself, right? So, if you look at the bag itself, besides the D-rings there, or the little clamps there, this is looks just like an ordinary bag, right? Kind of big, but nobody really knows what's in it. Again, I keep this in the closet. It's in a big old bin, along with the wife's bag, and a case of water, a couple other items, changes of clothing. So the idea is if something happened, we're ready to roll in minutes. In the trunk, I have bottled water, and I pulled this out of the trunk, right? A Gerber Machete. Good saw back for some woodwork. There's coyotes around here, so rather than shoot the animal and give away your position, I would try to deal with them with this, right? And I'm assuming the wife would have her firearm, and if we have to, you can shoot the son of a bitch if need be. But if you can take them out quietly, snake or something. If you can, grass snake or something, kill them if you have to. But that's the idea there. It sits in the trunk. with some bottled water. We're ready to roll in minutes. So basically, I'll show you. This bag has this bag that breaks off, and it has basically a belt. You can make it into like a fanny pack, and these side bags come off. A really big bag. I'll leave a link in the description bar on this bag if you're interested. I'll show you where to get it. Let's get into it. So again, it's off. This belt here comes off. You rip it through, put it through here and here, and basically, like I said, turn it into a fanny pack. This is my medical kit. All the basics: bandages, some small band-aids, because of course the little one, ibuprofen, anti-diarrheals. You're going to need anti-diarrhea medication. If you can't get water and you have diarrhea, you could die of dehydration. That will kill you. So you better remember diarrhea medication. There's also something else in there for diarrhea in the main bag, but I'll get to that later. Another thing I haven't seen anybody with yet. If you're a prepper, well then, you look at this. I'll leave a video in the description bar, right? Amoxicillin, right? Basically, I don't know, just in case, right? There's a video in the description bar if you want to check into that, right? Got two side bags, basically food and water. So we're going to go over one. Here, I have a mesh glove. Let's say you're going to hunt an animal, right? You're going to hunt. Well, you don't want to cut your hands up, right? You cut your hands, you're SOL, right? Doesn't weigh much, but it could damn well save you, right? You could die of infection or something probably. I mean, maybe not with the amoxicillin, but you never know. I have lighter in every compartment. Now, something about lighters. This is basically kind of a food slash fire kit, kinda, sorta. Got a couple ways to make fire in here, but basically, you can get storm matches, which I do have, but not in this bag. You can have magnesium, the rod, striker, these fire rods and all. I have a magnifying glass in my trunk, you know, definitely I'd take that if I could. Or you can have one of these. Light, and this will start thousands of fires. You're going to run out of matches eventually. And if you use matches, it's one match, one fire. You fuck up, you know, you're going to lose it, run out real quick. If I break this or lose it, I got 4 in there. So, weighs nothing, right? This would be worth its weight in gold, right? If there was a real shit at the fan scenario. One in every compartment. I have a fishing kit. Pretty standard. A lot of fishing string in there, and a wire saw. Now, everything in my bag is in plastic bags for the most part. The idea is, I would collect as much grass, you know, and dry moss, stuff like that, tinder as I could to start fires, and keep them in these bags. That way, you'd always have something to start a fire, right? If you're going to be somewhere, I assume you're going to hunker down and wait there for things to blow off. You could have all this. You could pile it under your shelter to give you, you know, some protection, get you off the ground, put some layers between you and the ground under your shelter. You can, if you have enough, you can take these. They say it's full of dried grass, you know, soft grass. The wife has some spare clothing. Stuff it in the shirt, tie it up. You got a pillow, right? And it'd be basically fire material if you needed it, right there in your shelter. This here, if I really needed some fire, it's magnesium shavings, the wicks off of several birthday candles, the relightable ones that keep going on, some wax, and some match heads. If I needed to start a fire, this will start quite a few, right? Minimal effort on that. I have these here. Basically, camping utensils. It's metal sporks, right? Got them on eBay real cheap. Got just 2 in here. Basically, I know it's me, wife, and little one, but I don't have a mess kit for everybody, right? That's too much weight. We'll just take turns, right? Eating while others do something else. Maybe the little one and the wife can eat together. Sometimes they feed each other oatmeal. They'll play around, you know. Maybe they could do something like that. I'll go collect wood or do something and then switch off. I'll eat and they do something else. You know, like I said, minimal. It'd be nice to sit around and eat together, but that may not happen. Some wire snare, right? Setting up traps and stuff like that. Got these scrubber pads to clean utensils. Got some GI can openers. You never know, I might find something. Let's say the vehicle breaks on the side of the road. Again, you better be able to carry everything. You can't be one of these guys with a 60-pound bag out of shape and never carry it and expect to do it. But, you know, if I have to, let's say it breaks on the side of the road, I can, you know, there's people with cans or something, they just abandon vehicles. You know, you never know what you might run into. Better to have them than not. They're lightweight, weigh nothing. We have this here, slingshot. I was trying to think about it. What would be the best way to catch food? You know, of course, stick and rock traps, snares, put lines in the water to catch fish, make a fish pen. But I'm like, you know, hell, just a slingshot. So after I bought the slingshot, I'm like, I wonder how original this is. Some of you guys have maybe thought of it, but I saw one bug out bag that the guy had a slingshot in there. Everybody, I see people with maybe a pellet gun or a 22, a survival rifle, you know, for hunting animals. Maybe for defense, I would take a 22, one of those survival rifles, but not for hunting. I would just say this guy, you're never going to run out of ammo. See how Naked and Afraid, these guys just stare at a bird and there's nothing they can do? Well, you see a squirrel, you see a bird, you hit them with that slingshot, right? And there you go. Right, you're not going to run out, there you go. You'll always see something out there, I'd imagine. Whether you can get it or not, I don't know, but you see something, you have a chance. Let's go into the second compartment. I'll keep this organized so I can put it back together. Have some rain ponchos. I like them so much from the $50 Ultimate Bug Out bag. I put some in here. Basically for a solar still, right? There's, you know, solar still is not the best way to go about it, but everything, you know, it's really important, so I figure have a couple ways for water. This guy, you could take, basically, you take a shovel and you dig a hole like a crater shape. You put a container in the middle, you put a rock, and you'd spread this out, you know, and basically put a rock in the center to weigh it down, put a lot of grass and stuff like that that you know is not toxic, and you let the sun evaporate it out. It can collect on the top, and then it drip into the container. Then you'd have a hose in the container, and you just sip out. What little bit would come out. This could also be used for siphoning fuel, which I'm gonna bleach that. It's old as hell. Or just, I think I got some more somewhere. Let's go buy some more, but for now it stays in. Soap. Right, just plain old bar soap. I probably, you know, I need to swap it out and get unscented. I actually use the bar for something else, so I just put this in there temporarily. I'm going to change it out, but you preferably unscented, I would say. You don't want dish soap and shampoo and bar soap and all this other crap, right? If you need to move, then minimum. This, you would cut the bar into sections if you had to, right? You could use some for washing clothes, some for bathing, some for doing cookware, you know, stuff like that. But one bar of soap for many uses. You do your hair, your body, everything. Just cut this into sections, and you'd use some of the bags, and you label, you know, the bag what it's for, and there you go. But I hate watching bug up bags, and the guy has dish soap and shampoo and all that shit. Sawyer water filter. This will filter 100,000 gallons, up to 100,000 gallons. That's pretty much it. I got one in my bag. The wife has one in her bag. Right? That's pretty much it. Again, lighter in every compartment, just in case. Just in case. Okay. Bag itself. In compartment. The idea is I get where I'm going and set up, right? So got some emergencies and super C's. Not necessity, but you never know. You're doing a lot of work out there, woodworking and stuff. It takes a lot out of you. And then also people get sick of drinking water. You got your wife and your kid. This could be good for morale and put a little bit of boost in their in them. Right? A little bit of morale will come a long way when your spirits are down. Plus that they may need it. You know, food's kind of scarce. That might help. And if you need to, you can shut the weight and just dump it. Me and the family, we all train with, well, everybody, around me, Glock 17s. We have, of course, we'd have some with us on our person if we bugged out, when we with change of clothing, but some extra magazines just in case. Some sanitizer. I cut it with alcohol to make it a little more runny, right? I'll show you what the purpose was. Oh, one thing you can do, of course, you can't wash your hands out there, probably not. I just put the top back on. It came loose as I pulled it out. Anyway, I'll clean that later. You would be able to, you can't wash your hands, so just put a little sanitizer. Maybe, if you got wood you're going to burn up, start a fire with, you can just wash and basically it falls in there. Start a fire with that. There's another reason I'll show you in a bit. Got some work gloves. If you're going to do woodwork, basically, you need some gloves. If it's cold, the weather fluctuates here like crazy. It gets pretty hot in the summer. Then it get pretty cold, rainy and windy in the winter. So if it's cold, you're going to be going out or something. You're going to look for something. Put these on. Keep your hands somewhat warm. Also, if you're cooking or boiling water, you don't have hot mitts, but you can use this to move from A to B if need be, right? Of course, that's not the preferred option. You probably got attachments. You can just lift it and all. But if you had to, you lose them or something, you can use them as hot mitts just for a second or two, moving some small container. Compass. Self-explanatory. Another lighter in this compartment. I have 5 emergency blankets. Right? There's a dual purpose. Of course, if I needed to, you could use them as a regular blanket and insulate yourself. It holds about 90% of your body heat. But there's another reason for that. Again, bags, label the soap or whatever. Put the tinder in there. Markers and a notepad. If you run into some landmarks or something, you need to take notes, names, or you see people, you can take notes or whatever of the gear and stuff they have. You never know, right? You don't want to leave notes for other people to find, but just important notes that you may need. You may not remember when you're pretty stressed out. 3 travel toothbrushes and a big old tube of toothpaste. You can use toothpaste for small cuts and insect bites. So I definitely have a big tube of that, just in case. This sewing kit, I put an extra spool of thread on there, just in case. Fixing the bag, fixing your shelter, your clothing, whatever. You can also use the thread there for fishing line for smaller fish in a small pond or something if need be. I've got fishing line, but you never know. It's good to just have it just in case. ShamWow. This guy holds up to 5% its weight in liquid. So I would take some paracord and tie it to the ends and walk around the wet grass and collect the morning dew. I showed you how to make a water filter out of a 2 or 3 liter bottle. I've got it already set up where it's with water in the trunk, and then it shows you where to cut it, where you put your charcoal, your sand, your grass, and all that. So you would take all the moisture, you'd wring it into the filter, it'd drip down into the container. You could boil the container, or you could use a Sawyer water filter, but it's for collecting water mainly. Right? There's a couple ways to do water because I think it's important, very important. Without it, you're dead. So let's keep going into the main compartment. There's a zipper here. So here's the other reason for the sanitizer: a alcohol stove. Right? You could use it for cleaning your hands, maybe some light wounds, or if you needed a fire really quickly, pour some in there, light them. The lighter, and you got to fire really quickly, just in case. Also, got a shovel, standard, just GI military surplus shovel. Couple things, of course, you would bury your waste. You don't want to take a dump right next to your shelter. You want to go 50, 100 feet out, dig a hole, do your business, and bury it, right? If the ground's wet, you can use it to start a fire. You take the shovel head, and basically, you would start a fire here. And then you could have other sticks and stuff and just kind of scoot it on with more sticks. Or, if you've got a small fire, you can do that. Otherwise, you might melt the plastic. But You can start a fire on the shovel head if need be, right? You can use this to dig an Indian well if you find a source of water, a creek, a stream or something. You know, it's pretty muddy, nasty. You could dig next to it, throw out the water, and you know, keep doing that until the water's clear. You take that, collect it, and boil it. So you're gonna need a shovel. Charcoal pills. There's not really much medical evidence on these guys, but my grandfather would say that if you're camping and if you ate something that disagreed with you, you would take the charcoal from your fire and you crush it and mix it with water, make a slushy, and drink it, and it would absorb a lot of the impurities, right? It's supposed to help you with diarrhea too. So another thing, in addition with the diarrhea medication, I would say some of these too, just to have in case you need them, right? Again, with diarrhea will kill you if you're dehydrated. I told you the story last time that when I was drinking, me and a couple buddies, there's a lot of co-workers were drinking, and we were pretty hammered. I took some of these, and I was sobered up pretty quickly. Yeah, so you know, I believe him after that. We got, I'll show you that in a bit. This alcohol again for wounds, or for the alcohol stove. Oh, I nicked myself on something. Alcohol stove. There you go. Some 550 paracord. Minimum is 100 feet. Wife has some in her bag as well, but I got 100 in this one just in case. Duct tape. You know, shit, you're gonna need this, that's for sure. I mean, what can't you do with duct tape, really? A sharpening stone. Got the machete to work on, and knife. Sharpening. I showed you this guy, I think, I'm pretty sure. But again, this just sits in the trunk. If I could, I would take this guy. Got some bottled water. And take it with me. If I have a jacket or something, just put this under my arm like Kyle Reese in the Terminator, and there you go. So if you use do a lot of woodworking, you're gonna need to sharpen it. So just in case, it sits in the trunk. I'll put it back when the video's done. This metal container, again, the bag sits in the closet with water. It sits, you know, I'll put it in the trunk where there's water. I fill this up if I needed to, and then we move out. You can boil water in there too. That's what I like about it. SAS Survival Guide, many useful tips in there. Very small, definitely earns its weight in the bag. Here's some attachments for this flashlight. I'll leave a link in the description bar for this flashlight. I hate seeing batteries in people's bug out bag. I hate seeing batteries. It makes no sense to me. Even if all your equipment, you know, takes AAA and you have a big ass damn industrial pack of batteries, still, man, if you leave them in your equipment, they're gonna drain. This right here, let me show you the battery. That's the battery. If you have a cell phone, you use these. It's got a couple options here, a couple extensions options, but a USB and a mini USB port. Plug that in your cell phone, and you'll charge that sucker up. Right? That's it. Let me get this going here. Okay, so has a couple different things on this guy. First off, has this blade, so you can cut up the paracord if you needed to. It's got an emergency hammer, so you can shatter glass if need be. Has a compass, and this is actually an antenna here, right? Because it's actually a radio as well. And here, yeah, I had it set on the Weather Channel, but anyway, I'll say it later. But a radio, phone charger, has his flasher here. Let's say you're going to go and take a leak or something at night. You hang this on a branch close by, so you know where your little tent, your little setup is. You know, of course, you know, you're going to go out and take a leak. Maybe somebody could see it, but they got to be pretty close by. I'd say put it kind of low. You know, don't go venture too far. And there you go. And of course, it is a flashlight. A bit brighter when you charge it, but yeah, there you go. Very handy little tool. Got this on eBay. I'll leave the link in the description bar. You know, Also maybe some entertainment. Radio, you can see what's going on. You know, check the weather, because you ain't gonna have no weather channel. And if weather's gonna get bad, you want to know about it. Now, one thing I did change about this bag. Oh, here, one more thing. Is this. I have duct tape on here on the old bag. It's stuck out in the back, and basically I didn't want it to poke me, so I just put that there to be sure. I'm going to get some more of these. They're 2 for $1 at Dollar Tree. I'm just going to throw, I'll get 4 of them and throw them in there. For cooking on, of course, right? You hunt something, put some rocks, put your fire, put that on there. You can cook something, you can boil water, right? Lightweight, definitely worth it. Like I said, I'm going to go get another two packs, so I have 4 of them. Just throw them in here. Here is the old tarp in the other video. I had this laying on the outside of the bag, so like that. And I just figure, you know, use a trash bag as extra shelter. Kind of get shredded, but it's a really big one, so I could use it. But if you see this, and here, I have this tent. And you're probably like, what the hell, a tent? Like I said, it gets, the weather here really changes. If it's cold and rainy, right, windy, I've got my wife, I got the kid, the little one. Basically the same diameter here, right? And, you know, it doesn't weigh much more. I mean, because the poles, yeah, a little bit more, but, you know, it comes with stakes and everything. And basically it's, what, 4 inches difference? And you can either dick around trying to make a shelter with tarp. Those of you, you know, in the wintertime, it's cold and you open the window or open the door and the wind just blows in and takes all the heat out. That's going to happen in the tarp shelter. If you have insects, you got mosquitoes and stuff, you can take mosquito net. The tent already has it. Of course, it already has tarp if I needed it. You don't want to sleep on the ground, so basically give you some layer of protection against the cold ground that can suck the heat right out of you. Set up the shelter. You can reinforce it later, build something over it, right? But you'd have something in minutes. You got a wife, kiddo, it's cold, rainy, you know, there you go. Plus that, a tarp shelter, snakes, spiders, you know, here we got scorpions too. All kinds of creepy crawlers can go in there when you're sleeping. If you zip the tent up, ain't nothing climbing in that shit, right? I think it's a much better way to go. Of course, I could have got a smaller tent. I know I'm going to get that comment, but you know what? I've seen a couple of these small tents. They're like 300 something bucks. I can do a lot more with that, right? I was going to take this tarp. I'll just take this. It really cost about 3 times more than the tarp itself. Hey, what the hell? Not that big of a deal. It's pretty cheap. But there you go. It's my setup. And like I said, I really think this is a much, much better way to go. Have a shelter set up in no time, right? Against all the elements. I would say I would take that guy. If it got really cold, take the emergency blankets, duct tape, make a pretty warm shelter. And then in the daytime I can go get some small sticks and some leaves and stuff and start building a shelter over it, right? And build onto that. Eventually you can cut other branches, stuff like that. Give you a temporary, you know, not going to live out there, not going to be a caveman, of course, but you're talking an extended stay out there. If shit was really bad in the cities and stuff, that would be my setup. Got one more important thing. 2 more actually. This here for boiling and cooking in, right? Of course, like I said, just one. I don't have a mess kit for everybody. It's too much. Suppose that I got to take turns carrying this, because even though it's only 28 pounds, you know, and got all this stuff in it, still, that can get to you after a while if you haven't eaten stuff. So I figure, you know, if need be, you know, maybe the wife take it for a little, I'll take it. You never know, right? Of course, I don't plan to do that. I plan on doing it myself, but you never know. You hurt your leg or something like that. You never know. I just plan for a lot of things. But you basically boil water, cook in there if you need to. Here's my emergency food. Quite a bit, actually. Now, I've made a video about this. This is basically, it's rice, dried beans, some crushed up ramen noodles, some French's dried onion, some chow mein veggie kits that I put aside, some garlic powder, and some salt mixed up in here. Now, this would be emergency only. What you do is you put some boiled water, about halfway, just a little. Alright guys, sorry, video cut out just as I was pulling this last item out. But I was talking about the emergency food. I made this mixture. It has dried rice, ramen noodles, some dry beans. It has some French's dried onion, some chow mein veggie kits I put in here, some garlic powder, and some salt. So the idea is, you know, you just you need boiling water and you got a meal. You take this container, fill it just under halfway. You boil that water, and it boils pretty quickly with that little bit. You would put about the same amount worth of the mix. Now, you can also, if you have Slim Jims, cut them up and put them in there. And when you boil them, they'll rehydrate. And then you put about the same mix, the same amount of mix as you do water, 1 part for 1 part. And it'll absorb it and rehydrate, and you'll have a fully cooked meal. I made a video about this mix, and I'll leave it in the description bar. This is going to be emergency use only. You're not going to get to your shelter, get to your camp set up, and then, you know, set a campfire, set your tent, and then everybody cook and eat. This is last resort, right? You're going to eat this, and you're still going to be hungry. You eat bare minimum. You're not going to eat to get full, or you will starve. What you want to do is you want to use a slingshot. Try to kill birds. Try to kill squirrels. Something like that. Put you know, make some stick and rock traps. Put some snare traps in different directions. Make a fish pen. Put lines in the water. Try to catch your food, because this is all you have. This is all you're going to have to rely on. As a last resort. As a last resort, you use this. Right, because it will run out, and then you're SOL, right? So again, can't stress that enough. Last resort, right? Anyway, this is my setup. You know, I guess I can add a little, take a little. I'll think on it. I'm always thinking about this kind of stuff. But anyway, let me know what you think. Again, you know, I don't recommend batteries, guys. Try to get rid of that stuff. And yeah, whatever you can. I also got some, I didn't show you, but some safety glasses I keep in the bin with these on the top, just in case. If you can do some woodwork, you don't want to, you know, get splinters in your eyes and stuff like that. If you're walking around at night, you know, you're going to need your eyes, I'm sure, so hey, you better protect them. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been a long video, but if you're thinking about setting up a bug out bag, I think this will really give you a set in the right direction. Of course, it's going to change person to person where you're at, but where I'm at, I think this is the best setup, right? And nothing in here was overly expensive. I'm going to leave some links in the description bar. Check it out. If you got a question on something else, let me know, and maybe I'll put a link in the description bar. Y'all have a good one.